Oh, hold on. That's better. So, time for a bit of shameless self-promotion. I'm just back in from a run, and I don't know if you can tell, but the fucking sweat is pissing off me, and my face is actually a lot redder than it's coming up on the screen, which is somewhat fortunate for all you guys stuck looking at me. Shameless self-promotion. I am just after checking my views on this very newly created YouTube channel. The channel's around a couple of years, but I haven't uploaded anything in a year, and when I did upload, I was uploading, every so often I'd put something up. The overwhelming majority of my content on YouTube is just audio. I had to make it a video to put it up because you can't actually upload just an audio file onto YouTube. And I'm just going to pull over for 2 seconds and straighten my camera because I'm not overly happy with the angle that it's at. I'm a bit anal when it comes to that. It wasn't as horizontal as I'd like. But anyway, back to shameless self-promotion. Just checked the views there. I was kind of cooling down from a run because all the fucking windows in the car were steaming up, so I couldn't just drive off. And to give you a bit of background, I have uploaded 300 plus solos, 40 something 3-4 hour long conversations with people, and my views were like, averaging 50, 60, something like that, which was great. I had people listening to me, and a lot of people contacted me and told me what I was doing, that they liked it. I helped them with stuff and fucking up the boys and down the points as far as I'm concerned. But I just checked it there for the crack. In the last 24 hours, I've 300 views. Now, in YouTube land, that's absolutely nothing. It's fucking not even worth mentioning. But for somebody like me, who's put in such effort for such a long time, and to get nothing essentially back from it, not nothing, the heads up I got from people to say that they were enjoying it went a long way. But I never got the colour of 300 views in a fucking day. Not the colour of it. And it's really given me just a nice bit of fucking encouragement. Now, you have to be careful, because if the views are 0 tomorrow, that shouldn't fucking bring me down. So you have to be kind of careful. I'm a big fan of a guy called Blind Boy Boat Club. I highly recommend you check out his podcast. The Blind Boy podcast is called. Fellow Irishman, a lad from Limerick. He's 100% a fucking great lad. But one of the many, many, many things I've learned from him is the importance of having what he calls an internal locus of evaluation, which basically means that how you value yourself comes internally, comes from an inside source. You're not dependent on other people telling you you're a great lad in order for you to have some self-worth. If you were depending on outside influences or outside influencers, if you were dependent on them to tell you were a great lad, that would be an external locus of evaluation, which, isn't great. Now, we've evolved to have a bit of both. So, if everybody around you thinks you're a fucking prick, maybe it's not everybody around you, and maybe it's you. Maybe there's something you need to change there. So you can't just completely disregard the thoughts and feelings and comments of other people. You have to take it into some consideration at least. But it's also very important to have some self-worth, and to do what another one of my boyfriends refers to, Joe Rogan. I've heard him mention building a mountain out of layers of paint. And I think it was Chris Williamson from the Modern Wisdom podcast not that long ago who mentioned this. He mentioned that quote from Rogan, but he also mentioned that he suffered from imposter syndrome, which I had bad. I suffered from imposter syndrome real bad for years, and not in a good way. And without going on too much of a segue or down a rabbit hole, the back of the envelope explanation of what imposter syndrome is not feeling like you or feeling like you are getting away with something. So I'll give you an example from my own experience. I set up a vertical farm and started supplying wholesale food service distributors with microgreens. And I was doing it years, but I was always waiting for, as I remember myself, a man with a clipboard knocking on the door, knock, 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 and going, gigs up, lad. You've gotten away with this for long enough. And he'd give me some reason why I didn't deserve what I had built, or he just say, look, what you've done has been brilliant and all the rest of it, yeah, fair play, but you can't be doing this. Because I went from working my bollocks off for other people my entire life and being, you know, staff essentially, to running my own thing. And part of imposter syndrome, I suppose, is having an inferiority complex of sorts. You feel completely, totally, utterly undeserving of what you have. And the way that I found myself get out of that, well, the big one was realizing that there was a name on this thing that I was suffering from, which is imposter syndrome. So that went a long way. So an analogy I've used before is, imagine you have, I don't know, a rash around your groin, and you're really fucking embarrassed about it, and it itches and it burns, and you haven't gone to the doctor because you're mortified, and you're like, oh my God, Jesus fucking, what's wrong with me? I have this thing and I can't talk to anybody about it, and oh fuck. And then finally, so you're suffering from this for years, and then you go to the doctor, and the doctor goes, yeah, that's just a bit of crotch rot. You know, 80% of men your age, or 80% of men will have this at one point in their life. There's a bit of cream, rub on that and it'll be gone in a couple of days. Like, can you imagine the relief of that? Now, you know, replace fucking an itchy crotch with anything. Just to be given a name for the thing that you have and to go, oh, and I would imagine the label of anxiety would have helped a lot of people. So when I was growing up, you know, people took to the bed and people suffered with their nerves and all these different things. And I would have hated to have been one of those people, because we didn't have a language for, you know, depression and anxiety that we do now. And I'd imagine that a lot of people, when they're diagnosed with, maybe it's schizophrenia, maybe it's just anxiety, or maybe panic attacks. I would imagine a lot of people have suffered from anxiety attacks and panic attacks, and knew there was something wrong with them, obviously, but didn't know what, and blah, blah, blah. And then they learned about these things called anxiety attacks or panic attacks. And just being able to put the label on it and knowing that other people suffer from these things, I would imagine would give you a certain amount of relief. You might go, oh, fuck, okay. It's not just me. And I think podcasting has gone a long way with that. So if you're listening to a podcaster and they're talking about maybe dark thoughts that they have from time to time, and I've spoken about this, I have a fucked up imagination, as you might imagine, and I've spoken quite openly about dark thoughts that I've had. And I would imagine that for a certain amount of people listening, it might be nice to kind of go, fuck, I've been feeling guilty about all those bad thoughts, but it's nice to hear somebody else talking about the same experiences that I have, because it kind of normalizes it. And when you normalize something like that, it can take the weight off. It removes the it's just me feeling and I'm the weirdo feeling. But anyway, how the fuck did I end up talking about crotch rot and anxiety and panic attacks? This is supposed to be about self-promotion. 300 fucking views in 24 hours. Like, to me, that's insane. Like, to me, that's a fucking big landmark. Like, that's massive for me. Especially given that this is what, day fucking 4 of doing this whole uploading 100 podcasts thing. And again, all the more reason to fucking just do it. Because even if I wasn't getting the views that I am now, as small as they are, if I wasn't, it'd be exactly what I was getting before, nothing, and I would still have learned loads, and I still would have reached out to your man fucking Uber bio. Maybe nothing will come of that, maybe it will, who cares? I've been thinking about doing it for years and I've actually done it, so there's progression. And I suppose the whole goal of this particular episode was to say, fucking join me, come with me on the fucking journey. And send me hit me up with a fucking comment or a like or an email. I'm offthellead@gmail.com. If you're fucking doing something, or maybe you're doing fuck all and you just like that I'm doing something, spread the love a little bit. I am in desperate need of people in my own personal life who are doing anything. Practically everybody I know is doing fuck all with their lives, other than, living their lives and raising their kids and doing their jobs and all the rest of it. And fucking more power to you. But I need more in my friend base. And I'm not looking for friends here. I'm not asking the internet to be friends. What I'm doing is, I suppose, highlighting the importance of surrounding yourself with people who, if you're ambitious, make sure you're hanging around with ambitious people. Because as the cliche goes, your network is your network. And I implore you, come with me on this journey, because the 300 views that I'm after getting in the last 24 hours, it's just after giving me a little pep in me step. And it's after reminding me of the future that I want to create for myself. It's after giving me a bit of a kick up the hole to go fucking do it. Go fucking get after it, like. I follow a couple of guys online. Cameron Haynes is a guy I'm a huge fan of. Keep hammering is his fucking kind of tagline. He's a professional bow hunter. I'm into archery, into archery myself, and he's an insatiable cunt. He's fucking always getting after it. And I don't have people like that in my personal life, but I have them in my online life. If you can't surround yourself with people in the physical world, by all means surround yourself with people in the digital world. And if I can be such a person for you, well then fucking up the buys and down the pints. And on that note, I'll chat to you soon.